What's up, everybody? This is Greg with Advantage One Brokers, and this is the ADV1 podcast. This is a podcast we come to you each and every weekday. Yes. And we come to you on YouTube, Facebook, and we come to you to give you information on, you messed up my, which is good. It's fine. We give you relevant topics and trainings, and we bring on guest speakers such as Mr. Teddy Ingram here to talk about his success. Teddy, how are you doing today?
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
So Teddy, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I just want to say, thank you, for having me on, and it's an honor to, I believe in passing down information once you learn something, because the information doesn't mean anything if you don't pass it down. It's just something that you learn. But if you don't apply it and then flood it out to everybody, then what's the point? So I'm really happy to be on this platform, and kind of spread my knowledge and wisdom that I have.
So tell the agents a little bit about yourself. How long you been in the industry? What got you to Advantage One? What have you liked about being here so far? What made you make the transition? And we'll kind of work from there.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I'm from Philly. 215 all day. Go Eagles. And I started. The funny part about it is I got into this business to make just to have a steady income. So I was driving for Uber at the time and doing and I was doing acting as well. So, but I didn't have any type of steady income.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was I saw this ad on Facebook, and it was to be like an insurance worker. But I'm thinking it's like a desk job, so I can have a salary and just do my thing. And then when I got there, it was like, no, you're not in. I was captive at the time, but everything was commission based, and I had to pay all this money up front to get my license. So I just found out all these different things. And I just knew that, hey, I needed to do something different. And that was my different for me. So I went through the whole process of getting, fingerprinted and getting my license and everything. And I immediately started going to work once everything came in. So that was the end of 2019. So so I got my license in December 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started rolling from there. So I started off with a captive agency at first, and but I had a lot of success there, of course. But the issue that I ran into was that it was too much work, and then although we were considered independent, as far as the job itself, they treated us like we was workers. So we had to work for 13-hour days in one building, dialing in front of everybody and having them micromanage you and everything. So it was just a lot of high pressure. Although I did well, it was just it was not something that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted the flexibility, and it was I'm making this money. And it was good money for me because I wasn't making that much money from Uber and stuff. So it was good money, but it's you're taking up all my time at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm real big on my family being me and my wife and my kid, and you're just taking up all my time. I didn't have any time for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I made another transition to another IMO, and it's with each level where I went, I learned so much. So I learned the do's and don'ts and stuff like that. What works for me, and with the last IMO, my practice IMO, I did super I did well, very very well. But the issue that I had was that I still didn't know the business, and because I didn't really know the business, although I knew how to talk to people and I knew how to sell a lot, it was almost like you got thrown into the wolves, and it was you figure it out, and then everyone's praising you, trying to juice you and get all this information out of you, but when you make a mistake and you make some errors and stuff like that, there's no one there to go to bat for you. And that was my biggest issue. And then because I'm loyal with whoever I'm with, and if we're riding out together, we're riding out together, and I go hard for my team. Like, so whoever I associate with is like that's who I go hard for, and I was willing to go down with the ship, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But when they threw me off the ship and it was like, figure it out, I was like, you know what, this is not it. And then I was just having a conversation with a good friend of mine, Patrice, and she was just telling me about this opportunity here at Advantage One.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, I'll look into it. I didn't really immediately jump because I never really do that type of thing. I just kind of, I'm very like calculated, just see everything. And then what I noticed was, of course, you guys like Famous One is everywhere. Like as I start like doing my research, and I was like, oh man, like this is. But I think what really stood out was the fact that it was very like informational. It was like if like a lot of teaching going on. Like so, like every like podcast I would watch, I was watching you. I was watching I forgot the guy's name, but what it was is it was like okay, I'm going to learn how to do things the right way,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like the biggest thing for me. Is like I already know how to sell. That of course I can get better and learn like different ways to say different things, but my biggest thing was learning the laws, learning how to do certain things, and learning like the fundamentals of my craft.
Mm-hmm.
And here at Advantage One, it gave me that platform because there's so many different training videos about different products, about just everything that you need to know as a new agent at Advantage One. It was just so perfect, and that really was stood out to me. So I hopped on and started getting contracted with carriers. And the thing is, for me, I don't wait to get 50 carries that Advantage One has, by the way, which is crazy. um, I'm very like as they come in, I look at the product, I see what I can do, and I pitch off of what I have. So I don't wait to get 3 or 4 carries. I only have maybe 2 right now, and I'm just going, And as like carriers come in, I'll see if it, how it fits and if it's good for the client or not. But I'm not waiting,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very, and just intentional about what I do.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that and a little bit about your backstory and the successes and challenges that you've had in the industry, bringing you to this point. Um, you know, we're in the month of October, and what that means is that we have the Quility Level Term competition going on right now from October. I think it was October 6th to November 13th. I believe are the dates. But the agent with the highest net issue paid production with the Quility Level Term gets paid $5,000 and flies out to Sacramento. And there's some other prizes for places 2 through 10. But right now, I think you're in the running for top spot because you've been writing a ton of the Quility Term. So talk a little bit about how you've had. I mean, you just mentioned it. Like you're not waiting until you have a bunch of carriers. You're like, dude, I got this carrier. I can write business. I'm running. And you just started running. And you do a mix of being virtual and in-home, but you mentioned to me before that you really like the simplicity of the Quility Term in the application. And so tell me a little bit about how you've been able to implement that into your business, your strategy, and how it's been for you and for your clients.
Yeah, so with the Quality product, it's a term product. It goes up to $1 million. And you know how we always like when you have like those clients that say, "Oh, can I get $1 million policy?" And you're like, "Well, you don't want to go that high up with them because if you hit a certain carriers have you hit like 250,000 or more, they'll do like an exam on the client, and which is like a whole nother thing that we're just not
Another
trained
loophole to
on.
get through, and red tape
Right.
to cross over.
So
Yeah.
right. So because of that, it's you're kind of limited, so you can only give the client, you kind of got to explain it to them in a way where it's like you're not denying them, but you're just saying, hey, do you want to get your blood drawn? Do you want to get all these different things? And I don't think you want that. So you got to like play that game with them with like certain carriers. But like with the Quility, is like, listen, they have the brackets or like the age brackets where you can go where the $1 million is available. But I just pitch off of uh, I sell you the highest because the thought process is if I lowball it and you get approved, we can't go up,
Mm.
because you get approved for what that amount is. Now, but if you can get approved for $1 million, guess what? You might not be able to afford that, but guess what? I have somewhere where I can work my way down. So, and I always let the clients know, listen, I'm obligated to show you the top rate that you can qualify for. So when I'm doing my pitches, I'm doing three options, option A, option B, option C, and but the top one is always $1 million. And when they choose, no matter which one they choose, I always say, hey, now how would you want to choose option A when option B and option C is great options as well for you? So now what I did was I made them convince me why they need it.
Mm.
And that part right there is like something that's like that gets lost because people would just most like agents would just say, oh, they'll lowball themselves and say, hey, this person can't afford this. Why are you why are you making that decision for them? They're gonna let you know what they can afford, what they can't afford. And
Yeah.
then so because of that, don't shoot yourself in the foot. You got to go with the highest, and you can always work your way down. And that's really the way I approach it, and the way I was trained to approach it. And with the quality, it's so simple. It's like I like I'll dial, and then let's say I come across a person, and they say, and I give them my spill. I'm calling like for the mortgage protection. You filled out a reply card. I'm just getting back to you to verify your information. That's all I'm doing. So I don't try to go elaborate. I keep the script simple. And when I do that, sometimes you get those clients that say, hey, is this something we can do right now? And I'll play the game like, hey, well, just give me a quick second. I had to check my schedule just to see I'm not stepping on someone else's appointment time. And then I'll look for like a quick second, make it seem like I'm busy. And so actually, I actually have a time slot for you right now, so we can just go right into it. And then I let them know the whole process over the phone. So the same energy that I give them in person, I give them over the phone.
Mm.
I don't do anything different. So I don't switch it up. I don't, try to do a Zoom and try to get all technical with the person because we don't know how tech savvy these people are. So you can be trying to get somebody on a Zoom and then they just get frustrated and they stop answering the phone.
Yeah.
So especially with virtual, so I don't play that game. It's like as I try to make it as simple as possible, and I just go with that type of like energy. And more times than not, um, it's a sell. And even at the end of the sales, I always let the clients know, like, listen, like, this normally doesn't happen, but every once in a while, like, everyone gets so excited about getting $1 million policy, and they feel great, and they get that warm feeling inside. But then, like 2 or 3 months down the line, they're calling my phone or they call in the office wanting to cancel.
Mm.
So what I'm saying is, at what we're putting in place today is not a short term fix. It's a long term solution that we're putting in place for your family. So are you sure this $220 is not going to hurt the household? Because if it is and you cancel, then you're totally missing the reason why I'm out here today. So like Mr. Jones, does $220 work for you? Is that comfortable for you? And then if they want to go down, then I'll say thank you. You know what? I appreciate your honesty, and we're gonna knock this down to a comfortable. So I'm willing to walk away from the table if they can't afford that. Because I believe in what I do, and I have so much confidence in what I do that I'm not losing that sale. Like we'll do foot in the door options if that price point doesn't work for you. I almost want them to go down. That's how I like pressure them at the end where a lot of people just take the AP and run.
Mhm.
Me, I was like, listen, I can't afford no chargebacks. Like I'm already like, no, I want that business to stay on the books. I like my money now and later.
Absolutely.
So
And that's the difference, is that you can actually be an advisor when you have more tools at your disposal. You're not just focused on one carrier. You have quality leads. You're getting good training. When you have all those pieces that kind of come into play together, what happens? You get to actually sit down and be an advisor, and you get to find something and work with somebody to find something that's comfortable with them, and it reduces chargebacks significantly. So, um,
absolutely.
what's been your the best thing, or maybe a good highlight about Advantage One that you've noticed since you've been here? Something that's made an impact.
You know what? The funniest thing is the transparency. My goodness. Like when there's like major things that happen,
Uh,
uh you guys are quick to like do like a like either send like an email or there's like a meeting talking about whatever major that's coming down the pipeline that could potentially affect us. And and what I love is that you don't keep us in the dark. So you give people an option. Let's say if they don't like where the direction is going, you give them an out. And then if they want to take that out, guess what? It wasn't really meant to to come along for the ride anyway,
mm,
because a lot of times, this industry is hard. And granted, we got people like myself and other people in the group who make it look easy, but what we do is not like for the faint of heart. So when you have like issues and stuff that come up, sometimes people would use any little thing to not want to do the work. Oh, we're losing carriers. I'm not. Oh, I can't focus. This is just too much for me. Listen, like when you said nothing changes when we thought we were about to lose some carriers, and you're like, just continue to go to work. I'm like, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I can't worry about something that hasn't happened yet.
yeah.
So I'm going to go to work and I'm going to operate as if nothing is going on, and I'm just going to do my thing. And a lot of times people, um, they just don't know how to do that. They make up a lot of excuses. And last time I checked, excuses doesn't hasn't made me a lot of money.
Mm,
So because of that, it's like just go to work, um, do the dirty work that a lot of people don't want to do. Everybody hates dialing. I hate dialing. But I would rather do this than to be stocking shelves at Walmart or going, staying on my feet 12 hours doing security work.
yeah.
Like I'd rather be, do this and be in the comforts of my own home, and dialing and being done with my, booking my schedule in like 5 or 6 hours. So it's like the work doesn't, you got to put it all in perspective, and that's really uh, what a lot of new agents need to like focus on. Put everything in perspective. You work 5 to 6 hours, um, and you book 10 appointments or 10 to 15 appointments. You get 6 sales out of that. You just made a month worth of salary in a week.
Mm,
Whereas a lot of people are like literally busting their butt getting paid biweekly and making maybe $1,500 every 2 weeks type of thing, and they working hard. They trade in their time for money. So like for us, like we're in a position where we're able to um, work less and make more. But the issue that we do fall into in our industry is the fact that when you look to your left and your right, there's a bunch of killers everywhere.
mm,
So you think you did, oh, I did 10,000, and then you look up somebody did 50,000 in a week, and you're like, well, Jesus. But it's a motivation tool for me because it's like I said this in our Slack group. I said, man, it feels good to not be the big whale in the ocean anymore. It's so many different, like it's bigger whales in here who's been doing it longer, who's making a lot of money, who's serving a lot of families.
mm,
And for me at my practice IMO, it felt when I found out that I was like out of 7,000 people, I'm right at the top. I'm like, the system is broken. that's really so I was not excited about that, because what that mean was there's 5 to 6,000 people not making no real money. They just being thrown in there. They get these high comps, but you're not working.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know how to dial. You know how you got leads, and you don't even know how to work your leads properly. So there's a lot of different things, and then just buy leads, buy leads, buy leads. But if you're not teaching them how to fish, how they gonna ever be able to cook the fish? They can buy the fish all they want, but they don't know how to cook it. They don't know how to prep it. They don't know how to fry it or grill it or whatever. Then what good is you having that high comp? What's good is you having the titles? You know what's so I was that really rubbed me the wrong way. And just like the thought process of just being kind of lying to the people,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, just do this. So what I started doing was anybody who gave me the call, or who wanted to have a real conversation, I was raw and uncut. It was like, because everything is like very political. Like, oh, do this or say that. But no, I'm going to say this, and I have to do that because my job was always to, like, I want, at the conversation with me, I want you to be able to make your money.
Mm-hmm.
So like anybody who ever had a conversation with me, and if they applied what I told them, then they made some money. Their AP, their issue paid numbers went double, because I believe it's just giving out good information. So I don't hold the information. So it's one of those things where, I say, hey, listen, if you want to get to like my level, you have to do more than me. So if I get up at 5, you got to get up at 3, because you're at a deficit, because you're not near me. So you have to do more to get to where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you do that and you continue to move in that space, then when you look up, guess what? I wrote 50 grand. This person wrote 30 grand, but they wasn't writing that much. But now they're that much closer because they're putting in the work. And it's really all about the work, Greg. Like a lot of agents make a lot of excuses, and they blame the leads. Say, oh, the leads don't work. No, you don't work. That's really what it is. It's like you don't work and you don't know how to work. Me, I get the leads. Sometimes, Greg, I'll grab my leads, print them out, and I go straight door knocking. Like, I don't even feel like dialing. It's like, because the way I look at it, I'm playing with house money. I'm putting a face to the name, so they know that I'm a real person. I'm coming with all my credentials, all my license and everything like that. And I'm looking to run that appointment right there on the spot, or book it 24 hours out. So either way, I'm doing it, and then I'll work a certain area, go by area codes. Like, okay, I feel like staying in Jersey. I'm going to stay in South Jersey today, and I'll work this whole area that I have leads in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll do that, and I had success. So I had success either way, but I think it's because I wanted to have success.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to have success, it all started upstairs first. So that's the main thing.
So one of the things that you kind of ended on was leads. So what's your experience been with the leads here so far in comparison to the practice company that you came from?
So far I purchased B leads,
Uh-huh.
and the B leads are, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. I was like, oh, because anytime you're not the first one that had the first crack
Mm-hmm.
at the leads, you kind of you always go into it like, you know what, 70% of the leads are trash.
Mm-hmm.
That's my mindset. That helps me understand that, okay, you're about to get beat up with a phone. Let's prepare ourselves. So I already know 70%, no matter how good the leads are, 70% are trash. That's my mindset. My goal is to get past the 70%, focus on the 30%. And that 30% is where you find all the magic at. So if I get cussed out on the phone, like with the B leads I booked like close to half of them. So I bought like maybe like 40 something B leads. And I was able to get like maybe like 17 appointments off of that, which was like crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. And the crazy part about it is I'm not dialing like my typical, like, you dial on Monday. It was like every day was a dial day. So they're sprinkling in, but when I look up, I was like, man, there's 17 of these things that I'm running. And I was like, wow. So the B leads are amazing. And then for me, I always believed in like buying low and selling high. That's just the way I am. Until you get to the point where you have enough cash flow where it doesn't even matter, because even with the A leads, I heard great things about the A leads, but my thing is, are they high quality? That's great. I don't want just 10. Guess what? I need 50 of those. So until I'm able to afford 50 of those without like sweating bullets that I just put out money for it, is like, that's the end game for me. So I want the high quality leads, but I want a quantity of them because I want to be able to close 50 out of 50.
Yeah.
That's the mindset that I have. So it's like I'm building up to A leads. So, but the fact of the matter is, whether it's A leads or B leads, you still got to work them. So
Yeah.
people can buy a whole bunch of A leads right now, and they come in and they never go to work. So that's the biggest thing is, no matter what type of leads you got, you have to go to work, because it's light work for us. Like that, it's when you have leads, guess what? You're never broke.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so. But with the B leads themselves, what I liked about them, a lot of times, like when you have like mortgage protection B leads, they get bombarded in the beginning, and then the calls stop. The client can have a sigh of relief, like, oh man, I didn't feel like dealing with that right now. Then by the time we get the leads, they're 15 days old to, like, I'm not really sure, like 15 to like 85 or
For
whatever
B
the
leads
number is.
are, I think, 6 to 24 months old, and they've
Yeah.
only been sold to one other person
So,
outside
and
of
that's,
80 outside of ADV1.
oh, okay. But what I like about it is, because with those, a lot of times, like the clients that I've been getting, they're ready to have that conversation now, because everything's all about timing. So with those, they it's a numbers game, of course, but if you're able to buy those leads and work them properly, you can get, all you need is just one sale, to be honest, to make your money back. So once you get the one sell out the way, it's like, okay, I made my money back. Now let's run up the score. That's really what it's all about. Even with the A leads, it's like you buy some A leads, one policy, literally one, maybe two, depending on the pricing, what the policy is for, pays for that batch of leads that you got. So if you always look at it like, listen, I made my money back. Now let's go. Now that's where the real fun begins, because now you're trying to see how many sales you can get off that one batch before
Mm-hmm.
you do the other flip.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I'm exhausting all my leads. So it's like, I know a lot of people do, a lot of agents, they buy a lot of leads, call all day, get frustrated, never door knock, never tried calling at different times, um, and then they buy more leads. And then they buy more leads. Then next thing you know, you got 1,500 leads that you properly didn't close out, and you're like, the leads don't work. No, it's you have to literally. Sometimes these numbers are bad. Sometimes that's why they got an address. So you go find that person, and you try to close them, and then listen. I love the whole, when I get to your house, I'm like, hey, listen, look like we have some phone trouble. I'm here now. You filled out a reply card for mortgage protection. I'm in the area. I just got finished serving 5 of your neighbors. I've been working hard all day. How are you doing, by the way? Boom, like, and I throw that in there. Boom. Once I get that, it's like, okay, listen. So do you have any time to sit down, take about 10 to 15 minutes to see what we can get you qualified for today? And if you don't ask that question, guess what? It's always no. So once you do that, and they say, well, actually, I do got some time, or today's not a good time. I definitely understand it, because I know I just was just trying to make sure that we can get you service. Do you have a good working number that I can call? So that means I get a new number, and then if I can get that appointment booked within 24 hours, now I have your number, and I know that you live there. So guess what? I can door knock you again
Mm-hmm.
if you stand me up. So I don't mind doing the dirty work. Whereas a lot of people, just want to just dial, and never get to see the person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I granted, I know it's a little hard for like people who don't like virtual because they probably in one end of the state and then they have like a lot of ground to cover, and it's not like locally, but it's the same. It's the same thing. You just dial and you make sure that you just try to get that. I need to know. And for me, I'm a petty individual. A hang up to me is not a no. So I might be at your house.
Yeah.
So it is what it is because you, anything could have happened. That's the way I'm looking at it. It's like, listen, your phone died, or so I got a lot of reasons why you probably hung up on me. It's never because you're not interested.
Yeah.
That's the furthest from my mind. It's always, oh, this person needs me. Let me schedule time to get out. And then a lot of times people don't have that same energy that they have on the phone than when you see them in person.
Mm.
In person, they can be a sweetheart, but you never know a person's situation. They can be having a bad day. You called at the wrong time where you was an easy target to get cussed out. And that's just the way it is. And then another thing, like when you're on the phones and with these leads, they're going to cuss you out. But when you get cussed out,
You've
don't
been cussed
call your
out on your
upline.
leads here.
I had one person say, "Don't effing call me,"
Okay.
and I said,
Was that a
I
B
said
lead?
that's okay, but it was a B lead.
Okay.
But the thing is, I don't call my upline. I don't have a song and dance on. I just this happened to me. I go and I dial immediately the next person because I gotta get that taste out of my mouth. So I don't wait. So like the way you get like if you get beat
You're,
up on the
you're you're
phone,
the first person I've heard that said it's anyone's cursed them out on these leads. that's that's
yeah,
never happened. Yeah. So it's
you know
first time
what
for
it is.
everything.
No, I mean I think what it is um, people. You just catch people. No, people are people. Like we're fickle. We could be one way, and then another day we feel some type of way about something, and then you can be like, stop effing calling me. I already got this taken care of. Oh, really? You got this taken care of? So let me. Did one of our guys come out to see you? No, what type of policy did you get? Because I need to close this file out, and if your file came across my desk, then that means that it wasn't properly handled. So I'm just trying to make sure that you're taken care of. And they're like, "Oh, no, yeah, I think I gotta." I said, "Listen, this is what I'm going to do for you, because they always love that. This is what I'm going to do for you, sir. I'm be in your area in the next 2 days. What time works better for you, morning or afternoon? Oh, afternoon. It looks like I have a 2 o'clock, 2 to 4 available. We give ourselves a 2 hour time slot. The fight against traffic. You know how that traffic is, and then but I'll promise that I'll try to get there as early as 2 and the latest before." And then they said, "Oh, okay, that time works." So, okay, great. Do me a favor, grab a pen and piece of paper. I got to give you some information.
Yeah.
And I put them to work, and everything like that. But, yeah, just be intentional. So I don't take nothing personal, nothing at all. It's because I know, one, people are afraid to talk about life insurance. So if you call, you're like the boogeyman a lot of
Yeah.
times,
Yeah. You'd be
and
surprised.
you yeah, and then like a lot of times, but then you get the ones who so excited, like a lot of the B leads, they really are excited. So like that was just one that cussed me out, but one out of 40, I'll take that. I like those numbers.
Yeah.
Or so that's not a bad thing for me.
That's like a one off.
Um,
It's and you're right. A lot of times you're gonna find that through people that it could have been anything. They could have had just a really bad day at work, and their boss screamed at them, and then someone calls and talks
because
about
mind
more
you,
restriction. Like, dude,
and the funny,
I've already been called about this. Stop booking. Like,
but
like I could
and,
completely see that.
and
So,
yep, and the
um,
crazy part about it, Greg, I'm still going to visit that person.
yeah,
So it's like, and then if that ends up becoming a sale, guess what? That's my new story that I'm going to present to everybody in the group. Like, listen, this person cussed me out. I saw this person came to me in person. Guess what? He became my best friend.
yeah,
You know, it happens. So like, I don't rule out those that like I never like close the book on it.
yeah.
It's like I'll circle back,
Oh,
and then
absolutely.
normally like with So with that mindset, it's like you'll be surprised how many extra sales you'll get. Just doing that. Look, a lot of times people getting their feelings. Oh, you gonna cuss me out? Oh, well, fine. And you're gonna die with no life insurance then. I don't
Yeah.
care. And
You
it's
can't
like,
ever take it personal whenever you're trying to talk to clients. You just can't. And it sounds like you've had a lot of success, and it sounds like you're getting this success based off of your just work ethic. With the things that you're willing to do, the way you're willing to like door knock, call, and stuff like that, and you're just this persistence, this diligent persistence towards resolving the leads and really being of service to clients, which has been really successful for you. So that's awesome, man. I want to say congratulations for your success here.
no, thank you.
If there's anybody that watches this and they're on the fence, they're thinking about making the transition, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to always weigh the odds of everything, the pros and cons of making that step, understanding like, hey, you did it this way already. Do you want to stay in that space? You know what this is already. You built up a large file of what this is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to change, guess what? There are other companies out there that you can go to. So if you don't like a certain IMO, Advantage One has had the carriers for you. They have strong leads, and they have people like myself who are willing to drop knowledge on you at any hour to make sure that you're winning. And it doesn't matter if you're on my team or not. I don't care about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're successful, then that means that the collective is successful. Because your success can be the springboard for someone else who has that hunger, who has that drive to want to do something. And let's say somebody come in and say they've been watching this person struggle, then all of a sudden they get it and they take off like a rocket. Then that person can very well say, yo, me too. I can do that too. Everything's a trickle down effect. So if you feel like you want to change your situation and you don't like the the structure and what's going on, and you don't feel like you're being poured into, then come here. And the one example, I don't want to put her out there, but I'll just say it's a lady that I knew at the last I practice IMO. She really didn't write a lot, and she was kind of like looked upon as like, oh, she's just a person who don't write a lot of business. She came here and started like throwing haymakers. And what that told me was it's all about your leadership. It's all about the coaching. The coaching matters because the game is not different. It's a different coach and a different jersey. The player is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's no magical thing that happened. It's just better coaching, better team. That's just what it is. And for us here at Advantage One, we have the better coaches. We have people who are up front with you. We have people that's going to hold you accountable. We have people here that give a damn. They care, and because they care, that's a far cry from the last, my practice IMO.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll probably be mad. If I'm pretty sure they'll be watching. Hello. and and the thing is, what you got to understand is, I would never bash another company. It's just more so my experience and what I have going through. It got to a point where your actions is not your words is not matching your actions.
Mm-hmm.
So if it doesn't match, if those two are not connected, then don't be surprised that you have so many people leaving. Don't be surprised that people want a different opportunity because everyone just wants to be uh, fought for. And I wanted to say this as far as like with me and your conversation when we first talked, and when you said here you get a blank slate. Everything that happened before, okay, it happened, but here you get to change the narrative and become, a better agent. And that always stuck with me because that lets me know, like, hey, someone's going to fight for me. Someone's riding with me. Someone believes in me, and that's what Advantage One does. They take on people who might have struggled somewhere else, but they became very successful here because of the energy was being pumped into. Because I ain't never lie, that in that Slack, it's a lot of heavy hitters. It's a lot of people who write a lot of business,
Yeah.
and they're making a lot of money. And at the end of the day, it's all about the coaching. The coaching does wonders. And I want to go back to the lady I was talking about. Her numbers went up. Like they just went up. Like she literally, like, this is the most active I ever seen her. I know her personally. I seen her production, like, personally. So that made me excited. That lets you know the system truly does work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just one person at the top of the food chain. It's like everyone's at that top of the food chain. So that was like the biggest thing. So it was like, for new agents, listen, if you're on the fence, get off the fence. But the one thing that I would say is, if you're at this IMO or you was at the practice IMO, your actions and what you do, if it's not corrected, you're going to do the same thing here.
Yeah.
So with that, understand that this is a totally different situation. The coaches here are very informative. The uplines are informative. They let you know different products, different things that might change with the products or whatever. It's very, very informational. So you got to stay plugged in. And that's the number one thing too, staying plugged in. So if you stay plugged in, you'll have a lot of success. It's like everyone that is struggling, they never want calls. They never want to be. They never are available for, like, their upline gotta find them. If they trying to reach out to them, they don't respond quick to text. They don't. So they show you all the signs of why they're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people think that they know everything. It's like, listen, I wrote a lot of business. I was writing 82,000 a month. I was doing that, but I'm still willing to be poured into.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm still willing to be poured into, like, you're a newbie, so why would you not want to be poured into? So it's like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, if I don't, like, it was funny. I got rejected from this client, I want to say last week. And I guess, and it didn't work for me. Like, I was giving them all my best stuff. And she just didn't trust me. So I didn't do a good job with, creating that trust and understanding that, hey, this is the product. This is, like, she didn't know nothing about the company. She didn't know nothing about me. And I tried my best. It just didn't work. And I called Zach Allen, right? And I just had a conversation with him, just talked about it. And granted, I'm writing business at this time, so, like, you think, just whatever. But I still wanted to be poured into it to see what I could have done differently,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that you are never a finished product, no matter how much business I write from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I still need to be able to talk to you, talk to Genevieve or whoever, Zach. It doesn't matter. You need to be able to talk to people to be able to perform. So that's another thing for new agents coming in. Don't be afraid to call your upline, but you gotta be doing some work too. So don't just be calling and just be having a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be like, you better be calling if you're in the house. Don't call when you already fumbled the sale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's nothing they can do at that point.
I mean, you can learn. Failure is a great learning tool. People learn best from failure, actually. So, thank you so much for coming on board and just having a chat with us, Teddy, and pouring into the agents and giving them a bunch of nuggets of knowledge. If anybody watches this and says, "Hey, man, I want to partner up with Teddy. I want I want him to, help me with my business. How could they get a hold of you? What's the easiest way to get a hold of you?
You know, just through email. So my email is fourth quarter agency LLC at gmail.com. Just respond to, just reach out to me in the email. My email is connected right to my phone, so I see it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll respond and reach out. If you're trying to get licensed, we can get you put through the process to try to get licensed. If you already are licensed, then of course the process will move a little faster for you, and we can make you part of the Advantage One family. And you'll get
Absolutely.
poured into immediately, and we'll see how serious you are. A lot of people talk, but you gotta do at the end of the day. So at the end, my job is just make sure you make some money, because if you ain't making money, then that's when the agents start getting real chatty patty, mad, talking all day and not
Mm-hmm.
making no money because they doing all the talking. So my job is just make sure, hey, understand the products, go to work, learn the script. Don't wait for a whole bunch of carries. So you start getting some in that and it makes sense for the clients. Get them enrolled.
Yeah.
Because these clients have nothing right now. So if they have no insurance, you don't have time to wait to get all your carriers. You got to hurry up and get them covered, and service them if it makes sense. As far as the pricing and the product itself. So
Awesome.
so yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on board and just sharing your story and your experiences here so far with the agents. If you're watching this on YouTube, and make sure you do me a favor and you subscribe to the channel, you turn on your notifications, because we're coming to you each and every weekday with relevant topics and training. And if you got anything from this, if you learned anything from Teddy, or if you just enjoyed the conversation between Teddy and I, then there's a fee. And that fee is to share this with somebody that can also get value from the training. That's the value proposition that we bring. We do it for free. You share it with people for free. And hopefully we can change the industry together. I'm your host, Greg Birch, and this has been ADV1 Podcast.